top story, Pakistan's economy is in dire straits. Rating agency Fitch has downgraded Pakistan's currency, issue a default rating to CCC negative from CCC positive. This while Pakistan's parliament has called a session as it's desperate to secure an IMF bailout package. Also, Pakistan's former finance minister Shaukat Tareen, who allegedly lobbied against this, has been charged with sedition. Islamabad is rushing to expedite the passage of fiscal measures mandated by the International Monetary Fund for securing the $1.4 billion bailout. A report claims that the finance minister met with President Arif Alvi on Tuesday for signing the tax amendment bill. This draft bill seeks to raise 170 billion Pakistani rupees, that's $635 million, by raising taxes, and as part of the IMF's mandated conditions. But the president refused to sign the ordinance and advised the finance minister to take parliament into confidence over this issue. Now, as the National Assembly deliberates on this Pakistan's long-term foreign currency issue, a default rating has been downgraded by Fitch. The rating signifies a country's ability to repay the foreign currency which it has borrowed. Fitch ratings have marked Pakistan at CCC minus in these ratings. This is a further fall from the CCC plus where it was marked earlier. The grade means that a default or debt restructuring is an increasingly real possibility. The grade means that a default or debt restructuring is now almost a certainty, and a further sharp deterioration in external liquidity and funding conditions, as well as a decline of foreign exchange reserves to critically low levels. The agency, Fitch, has also said that falling reserves show a sharp decline in Islamabad's ability to manage its exports and imports. Meanwhile, according to Pakistani media reports, the country's cyber crime unit has registered an FIR against the former finance minister Shaukat Tareen. He's been booked for sedition for allegedly stalling talks with the IMF. According to this report, the FIR states Tareen, with malafide intentions and ulterior motives, induced sitting provincial finance ministers to sabotage the IMF program. Pakistan's economy is going through its worst phase. Forex reserves are barely enough to cover 2 to 3 weeks of imports. For more on this story, let's now go across to our Pakistan Bureau Chief, Anas Malik, who joins us from Islamabad. Anas, where are the talks between the Pakistan government and the IMF delegation currently? Because we know that last week these talks broke down, they resumed earlier this week, but the IMF is very clear that unless all its conditions are met, this bailout package will not come through. And at such a critical and sensitive time like this, you actually have a situation where the former finance minister is booked for sedition after being accused of trying to sabotage the deal. What's going on there?
Last question first. Shaukat Tareen's audio call was leaked, where he was seen speaking to the then finance minister of the provinces of KP, the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Punjab, where he was heard actively trying to sabotage the IMF deal or going to the IMF program by encouraging the provincial ministers to write to the IMF or speak to them and tell them not to support this government. So therefore the FIR has come to light, and therefore the registration of the case. We're seeing that we're hearing rather from the Interior Minister himself that the orders for his arrest have been issued as well, and it's only some time that if not weeks, some days, then he would be arrested. Now, to the first part of your questions, the IMF mission was very much in Pakistan for about 10 days, from the 31st of January until the 9th of February. The mission's mandate for 10 days had ended, and as they headed back, they said that there were two in principle agreements first was the MEFP, Memorandum for Economic and Fiscal Policies, that was presented to Pakistan, and second was the fact that the negotiations would continue in a virtual format, and therefore we're looking at that just days back Pakistan had given the MEFP, signed MEFP back to the IMF, and today the budget, the supplementary finance bill is being tabled as well in this house that is right behind me, the Parliament of Pakistan, and the focus of that is to do more and more taxation, 170 billion Pakistani rupees worth more taxes on people, direct and indirect taxation, an increase in GST, general sales tax, from 17 to 18%. The luxury items tax has also been increased from 17% to 25%, and there's a range of items that would get much more costlier. The government says that it is trying its utmost to ensure that relief is transmitted to the people and the cost is not borne by the common man, but it looks like that is far from reality. And these steps that are being taken, including the tabling of the supplementary finance bill in this house that is right behind me in the Parliament of Pakistan, is a prerequisite to meeting the IMF conditions, showing the intent on the part of the government that they are serious in meeting those conditions, so that they can go ahead and secure that much needed 1.1 billion bailout from the IMF.
All right.
Neha?
Let's see how these talks progress. Thanks very much, Anas, for all those details.